What's up, A to Z Sports here live on a Monday, another not a victory Monday, as the Titans are officially 0-2 to start the 2024 season. Will Levis making the same mistake in a different game and helping the Titans lose by costing them points on the scoreboard, and the Jets win the same score as last week's game in Chicago, 24-17. This one at Nissan Stadium in the home opener, and Titans fans very frustrated, to say the least, at their quarterback, second-year quarterback Will Levis, who now has a total of 5 turnovers in the first 2 games of the season. We're here to talk about it all, ask you guys why Will Levis is making these type of mistakes back-to-back weeks. We're going to hear from Brian Callahan, the head coach, also hear from Will Levis himself. Another stat that the Titans are continuously making history in all the wrong ways in the first 2 weeks of the season. And then the age game. We'll see if I follow the Titan suit and continue to lose with the age game. Zach, welcome in. Hope you had a good weekend with some football stuff. But look, I'm just glad football's back because I get to watch a lot of football over the weekend. And so hope you had a good weekend. Let's get this thing off and rolling.
Yeah, a lot to get to. Tough home opener. As you mentioned, the Titans fall 0-2. Same mistakes. And we'll dive into it. We'll get the opinions of the chat and everybody in between. We are broadcasting live on 3 different platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We got you covered and locked in right there. We will tweet out segment by segment, link by link on our YouTube page, or from our YouTube page on our Twitter handle at A to Z Sports. So follow us at ATOZ Sports on Twitter. That's a great follow there. If you want to follow any of our overbroad NFL coverage, go to A to Z Sports NFL on Twitter and give us a follow there. That's a great follow as we cover the entire league in college football on Twitter there. YouTube, subscribe, like, and hit the alert button. Those are the 3 things that you need to do when it comes to YouTube. If you subscribe, that's a great thing. Just search A to Z Sports Nashville on YouTube. You can hit that subscribe button. It is the best way to really diagnose and interact with these live streaming shows in the morning and in a prime time. We have we have press conferences, Titans at 2, tons of content going out on YouTube. So it's a great subscription. When you hit that subscribe button on YouTube and you like this video, that will help the algorithm, and the alert will send you an alert when we go live. So hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Facebook, what's going on, Facebookers? Bottom left corner of your screen, sharing out of public. Sharing is caring, and caring is sharing, as we say on this show. So share a show around as we pop up in your Facebook friends news feed. So a lot to get to. Let's get this party started on a Monday morning.
All right, let's get it going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. We're Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. That's at A to Z Sports. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us, and they help out all of you. Wilson County Hyundai. Make Wilson County Hyundai a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans, and do it by decreasing your rate and getting better health coverage. Use our link, fbhp.com/ATOZ, for a quote. And TDOTS, be part of the solution to end littering and make sure nobody trashes Tennessee. To find out how you can help, visit nobodytrashestennessee.com. So, Zach, this is the same bleep, different day. Titans losing, watching Will Levis 0-2 to start the season. I spent about an hour on the post-game show with Easton Freeze yesterday, having a very, very dynamic conversation about what Titans fans are going through emotionally watching the first 2 games of this year. We always do our one word in the post-game show, so I like to give you your opportunity to give your one word on what happened with the Titans yesterday. 24-17 loss. Will Levis, disastrous turnover to cost points. Zach, what's your one word here?
Yeah, this was probably one of the easiest one words that I've taken part in. I don't know what your one word was, so I'm curious to hear that, and Easton's. Same. That's my one word.
Same.
This This is, and you heard that a lot from Will Levis and Brian Callahan and, the Titans fans all over watching, is whether it was Brian Callahan asking, Levis, what the F are you doing? Same. We all were, right? Same. Whether he was cussing on the sidelines because it's such a boneheaded play. Same, right? And whether it was creating a halftime lead and then squandering it for the second straight week. Same. Whether it was outplaying a team, and they outplayed the Jets. Now, second half is a different story. Offensively, they didn't move the ball very well, but they showed glimpses and they made some big plays, but it was the same thing. And so I to address this, because we're going to hear from Will Levis and Brian Callahan, and they've got a lot of good things, well, tough things to say, but they're good in what they mean and represent. I do want to clarify, because I saw the chat to start out with. Look, I picked this team to go 7-10. I thought they could be 6-11, but I picked 7-10. And one of the reasons why was I was betting on inexperience. Will Levis could have been a game changer and been unbelievable and did what C.J. Stroud has done, as the Texans are 2-0 and everybody else is 0-2. But what I kind of did, and this was not like a crazy bet, is that Will Levis was going to go through some trials and tribulations, right? He was going to go through some learning experiences. And the problem is, and that's with any young employee, that's with any young person, that is with any young quarterback, when you have that much pressure and responsibility on you, you're going to make some mistakes. At least I thought that, right? Now, you hope that you don't make the same mistake twice, and we'll dive more into that. But that was my bet, Austin, was that was going to happen. And the NFL, you are going to have close games. That's why we love the sport and NFL Sundays so much. That's why the season started with an overtime thriller. That's when the best game of the day yesterday was the Bengals and the Chiefs in prime time with Tony Romo and Jim Nantz. And that came down to a game-winning field goal with tons of drama. You have close games, but experienced quarterbacks, they know how to manage those, right? And Will Levis, not only did he hurt his team in the first half by giving the ball and points away. Points are at a premium. The Titans don't score 30, like facts. They don't score 30.
Games. 37 games in a row.
So you're not going to do that. You haven't done that. You're still not doing that, right?
Yeah.
So when you have the opportunity to get points, you need them and take them. And then Will Levis, I thought at the end, came down and put together a very, very nice drive to put his team in position. He escaped the pocket in some regards. Sometimes he took a sack, right, to put them in a 4th and long situation. But he doesn't have enough experience to make those small plays, at least what we've seen so far, to then elevate his team into a winning scenario. That's why I picked them to go 7-10. I'm not sitting here. I don't root against Will Levis. I don't root against the Tennessee Titans. I don't have an affiliation with the New York Jets. I could give a damn. I want good football, and I like seeing the Titans thrive, and they're building something. But you've got to make some mistakes, trial and error. And there's been 2 catastrophic errors in the first 2 games by a young quarterback, and he's got to learn his lesson. And twice, fool me once, don't fool me twice. Fool me once, fool me twice. Sure as hell, do not fool me 3 times. And Will Levis now, we know that he knows it right now. Like, he's so emotional and he cares so much, but that's no excuse.
Yep, it is. Yeah, it's no excuse. And so your one word was same. My one word was painful. Easton's one word was avoidable, because the Titans are 0-2 because of about 7 snaps in the first 2 games. But that's how the NFL works, right? It comes down to just a few plays a game. 4 plays in week 1, 3 plays in week 2. Most of those 7 plays are mistakes made by the Titans that are 100% avoidable, which is Easton's word, avoidable. And they should be able to. We're in a position to be 2-0, but the youth and the inexperience came through, and the Titans are 0-2. And so let's hear from head coach Brian Callahan. This is how the press conference began for the Titans head coach after dropping his home opener to the Jets 24-17.
Kind of the same story as the last one. We had a solid first half, and then we lose a turnover battle 2-0. We give up another block punt. We haven't got a turnover yet on defense, and we go 5 3-and-outs on offense. That's on me. I can't let that happen. We were okay running the ball. Wasn't great. Wasn't terrible. Defense played well in the first half, and then when we needed a stop, we couldn't get one. That's partially on an offense for not sustaining many drives. So that was difficult to overcome. I thought we played better than last week. But the mistakes were critical. And you lose 2 one-score games, and your turnover margin after 2 games is -4, and you're gonna have a hard time winning. So that's ultimately the name of the game, is protecting the ball and getting it back for us to go score. And we're not doing a good enough job of it as an entire team.
What did you say to Will on the fumble? I know you looked very upset on the sideline.
I think the camera caught it pretty clear, if I had to guess. So, I was upset. It was dumb. It was the same exact thing he did last week, and he cost us points in the red zone. And that is what it is. He's a grown-up, and he knows better. And so, I was really irritated that he cost us 3 points in a game that we probably needed it.
Yeah, you did need it because, look, that was early in the game. It wasn't last week, right? Last week it was you had the lead, and it was at the end of the game, and it was a direct correlation to the final score because it was the last score. The flick 6 was the last score of the ball game in Chicago. This was not, but a chance to go up 10-0 on the Jets. And from people that I know were at the game, that play changed everybody in the stadium. Whether you're wearing a Titans uniform, a Jets uniform, you're a coach on either sideline, or you're a fan in the stands, everybody's mood altered. Up or down. Jets side, your mood went up. Titans side, your mood went down. And so that play let a lot of air out of the building. You had a chance to put your foot on their throats, which is what Titans players said they had to learn how to do last week, and they did not because Will Levis, once again, just gave the football away, which is a cardinal sin of quarterback play, regardless of what league you're in.
I really did appreciate how Brian Callahan reacted. I loved it, to be honest, because Brian Callahan, so far of what we've seen, is a pretty level-headed guy, right? Shoot you straight, even keel. The same thing with his dad, Bill. I mean, they can get fiery at times, but that expression to a young QB is like, you're smarter than that. And what did I at least from, again, outside perspective, this is kind of a different year for me in how I view the Titans, just because I haven't been as close to the teams as years past of covering practice in and out, day in and day out. I look at Brian Callahan's relationship with Will Levis, and I feel like he constantly tells him, take what the defense gives you. And Will Levis does that at times, and then he completely wets the bed at times. Like, does something that is so against what we talk about every single day as a coach, an offensive-minded coach is trying to mentor their quarterback. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, you have made so much progress, and then all of a sudden you do this? Like, what are you thinking? And there's nothing Will Levis can say.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, neither of us are parents, but I can only imagine this is exactly what a parent feels like when their bonehead son continues to do something stupid, and you're just like, we've been over this, the whole I'm disappointed talk, like, and this is like when dad like censors his cuss words when you're talking to your son until they're old enough to just let it fly. And Will Levis, as Brian Callahan said, he's a grown up, and he let the words fly on Sunday.
Here's the hard part, though: it's affecting the family, right? So it's not just singular. Like, well, you actually got an entire roster that the defense is playing their heart out, like as hard as they possibly can, right? Getting after the quarterback, trying to hold the opposing offenses to as little points as they possibly can, and you get down there and you just throw the ball away again. And so, like, how you build leadership is a lot of different levels, right? Mm-hmm. Action is a big part. And I might say what you mean what you say. Your actions speak a lot larger than your words, right? You lead by example. I loved, and this is going to be a weird take, but if you've watched this show for a long time, I loved Phillip Rivers. I felt like that, like everybody was following him. But there are also different ways to lead, right? Eli Manning was Joe Flacco, opposite of Phillip Rivers and, the aggressive nature of what that represents. Will Levis has that fire in him, right? That like everybody knows he cares so much. Like you can see the care in his vein and his bicep vein flowing through his body, but it's starting to kind of get him in trouble. And this is very early on in a season, but you got to nip that in the bud. You have to.
Yeah.
And Will Levis is the only person that's going to be able to nip it in the bud, or you keep giving away points. You're going to face better teams, right? Later in the season, you're going to face better teams that have gotten better over time, right? Like there's going to be surprises. Now, looking ahead a little bit, could have 2 backup quarterbacks in back-to-back weeks, and you're 0-2.
Yeah.
Before we get to our next clips, I think it's important. This is where I told a story a couple of weeks ago how much I liked Brian Callahan when you and I got an opportunity to have a conversation with him one-on-one at a Titans dinner. And one of the things that he said was, I was like, we were sitting there asking him questions. We were like, how do you think the team is going to be? Like, how is it molded? It was after training camp. It was right before the season. He goes, we'll see how we start the season. We got to stretch, right? And they're 0-2. And it's not like Brian Callahan's fault completely, right? Like I felt like they put themselves in positions as a young team to win games, and their young quarterback has screwed things up, right? But he says, we'll find out how we start. And I thought that was telling. Look, it's 2 games. We'll reassess after 2 more games, right? Are you 0-4? Are you 2-2? Are you 1-3? Like now, because then you start to be like, well, you're 0-4. You're good luck, And so that's Will Levis got to grow.
For sure. All right, A to D Sports here live on this Monday. We've got Will Levis to get to and Brian Callahan to get to. Want to go ahead and tell you guys about our great new partner, that is T-Dot. Nobody trashes Tennessee, especially on game day. Did you know that there are over 88 million pieces of litter on Tennessee's roadways right now? It's such a big problem. And we can all be a part of the solution. T-Dot spends $23 million every year cleaning up the litter, but they can't do it alone. $23 million every year, yet there's still 88 million pieces of litter on the roads. You can help out by stopping littering, by picking up the litter when you see it, when you walk by, and joining local cleanups like A to Z Sports is going to be doing this fall. Every action counts, and we can all be a part to help keep Tennessee beautiful. Visit Nobody Trashes Tennessee to get involved and see how you can make a difference. NobodyTrashesTennessee.com.
A to Z Sports, we are powered by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app right there. There are the sportsbook born in Vegas. Could have action to try to salvage some things if you had Nico Collins last night. I'll tell you that for the Houston Texans. And then you got Monday Night Football tonight. So always an opportunity to get in on BetMGM. You got college football throughout the week. Tons of big games on the horizon. Download BetMGM. If you are a new user, make sure you use the bonus code ATOZ Sports. That's ATOZ SPORTS. All one word, no spaces. That's BetMGM. Download the app today.
All right, there's so many good comments I want to get to. We have some super chats. We're going to get to those. But first, here is Will Levis. Get a little Q&A on his disaster fumble that, again, took points off the Titans scoreboard.
I'm not going to point to one play as to what lost the game, but obviously I can look internally as to what I can do better. And you're right, it's something that I wanted to clean up that didn't get done this week. Disappointing for sure, and work my tail off to be better for my team this week.
Not even just specifically that one individual play, but you had a punt blocked in this game. I just speaking on the team a little.
Yeah, just kind of weird. Callie came in and said the same thing. It's like deja vu. Saw it twice in a row, shooting ourselves in the foot. Not going to win football games like that. We talk heavily about winning the turnover battle, and it's something we can't do right now.
Is there something that continues to come up in your mind as far as like maybe trying to be a hero or trying to do too much in those situations, like when you toss the ball?
I'd like to first say I didn't mean to say that we can't do that we haven't done, but no, it's got to be something that's more second nature to me, and I'm going to do everything I can to rewire my brain to make sure that when I'm in those situations, I'm not making those decisions. And I think throughout my career I've gotten a lot better of not forcing things, or at least forcing balls into windows, but that's a different kind of play. It's something that is not going to show up as much, but is obviously much more important because the ball is put in jeopardy and opportunity for the other team to get the ball. So going to keep working to just be better for my team.
Ryan yelled at you as you came off. What the F are you doing? What did you say in the moment? What would you say now?
Just I don't remember what I said in the moment. I was understanding. It was disappointment, obviously, and just had my mind focused on the next drive. But what was the second part? Sorry.
And what would you say to it now?
Just take the sack.
Take the
God
sack.
bless. The
that's
voice,
a tough.
the
I know,
voice going away at the end.
Take the sack.
What do you say in the moment? I don't say a damn thing. That's what I don't.
Yeah, I put my helmet back on and then just go to the sideline. So look, there's a lot there. Rewire the brain, all that stuff. We're going to ask a question specifically about Will Levis. Now, Will Levis was correct in the beginning. He's not going to say one play lost in the game this week because a lot of you guys in the chat are correct. Traylon Burks, be a man, go get the football. Don't let it come to you. Go get the football, Traylon Burks. Do something for once. Catch the ball when it's thrown to you. Don't just let a DB, a backup DB who was playing because the other guy was hurt, don't let that guy go get it from you. Go get the football. Please do something. Nice block on Ridley's touchdown run. Do something, 16. For the love of everything, do something.
Hey, he's a good blocker, right? I hadn't heard that before. A good wide receiver drafted in the first round, but he's a good blocker, but he can't do anything to help the team. That guy, Traylon Burks, we all know what he is. It's okay. He is what he is. And so, and they even tried to, they're trying to find his one feature because he doesn't have more than three. His one feature, what I said at the beginning of the year, is maybe it's the deep ball just because of his size, and that's not even good. But Burks is what he is. He's always been.
I'm ready for NWI. Put Burks inactive. All right. So all the other things. Nicholas Petit-Frere.
So is he a bust? Are you here?
Yes.
It took you 2 weeks to admit that?
Yeah, it doesn't have it. NWI, Traylon Burks can be inactive because he's not doing anything. He's not a gunner either, like we talked about in the spring. Let me continue. Nicholas Petit-Frere, hope you had a happy birthday yesterday. You gave up 13 pressures. That's more pressure. It's almost, you know what the high for Andre Dillard for pressures allowed in a game was, Zach? Andre Dillard was terrible, right? But Andre Dillard gave up 7, was the most pressures that Andre Dillard gave up in one game. Nicholas Petit-Frere gave up 13 yesterday. Awful. So bad. Will Levis is being pressured way too often. Some of that's Levis's fault, but a lot of it, most of it, is the offensive line. So it is not all on Will Levis. But Will Levis is doing things that are 100% avoidable. So just do less, right?
Well,
if he does less, the Titans have a chance to be 1-1 or 2-0.
Take what they give you, right? Take what they give you. And hindsight 2020, we all know that. But Will Levis doesn't fumble that football, you at least get 3 points, right? So there's 3. Then the block punt resulted in 3 points, right? So there's 6 points. You're at the end of the game. Now you're down 1, and Nick Folk ain't missing a 25-yard field goal.
Yeah.
So you have to look at, it's the same thing of the previous week is you've done enough to win, but these boneheaded mistakes of just letting a guy drive by. I went back and watched the replay. He sits there and cusses out loud. I think that somebody in the 300 section, Julius Chestnut, when he let him fly by, he cussed. I think the 300 level heard that cuss word. You can go back and listen to it on the broadcast. Broadcast didn't mute it. And
really?
then you saw block punt. Yeah. Hilarious. Because everybody's thinking the same thing. It's like, oh my God. So 6 points, you come down, you kick a field goal, you win the game. Hindsight, you can't play the game like that. But I
also think the interception to Traylon Burks doesn't happen if the Titans, if Will Levis doesn't fumble that play. Because I think they took the shot there because of wanting to prove and say, hey, Will, we got you, man. Go throw it down the field. But again, all those are hypotheticals.
Yeah, so, I didn't mind the risk taking of that long throw.
Traylon Burks has to go do his job. Like, again, Go get the football. Don't let it come to you. Go get the damn ball. All right, so let's ask the question here to the chat. Why? We're asking, we don't usually do this, but we're doing open-ended question here. Why is Will Levis making the same mistakes back-to-back weeks? It's very simple. Why is Will Levis making the same mistakes in back-to-back weeks? There's so many different options and different places you can take this, but we got to know why is Will Levis doing this. He did the flick 6 against the Bears while trying to avoid a sack, lost the game against the Bears 24-17. You're in the red zone, up 7-0, had a chance to kick a field goal to go 10-0 if he takes a sack instead of lateraling the football back to Tajay Spears, basically rolling it to him, and the Jets recover that fumble. So why is Will Levis doing this? Zach, I'll send you to the chat on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We need people to hit that like button too. But why is Will Levis doing this again?
Yeah, let's start with Curtis City. Says he thinks he is a superhero, which I think I understand. I think we all understand the term of what Curtis is saying right there. Anthony's just saying because he's not good. He can't get the ball. Levis is wanting to do too much from JR. He's Carson Wentz 2.0. That's the first time I've heard that from that. It's in his nature from Major Keys. Jack just calls him a doofus, which is interesting. Danny says
underutilized word, doofus.
Trying to do too much. He's starting to get humble. So maybe not a reason why, but starting to get humbled maybe after that type of play. Mental pressure from Ramon coming in there describing why. Bullheaded. That also is a term that first time we've heard that Hello Lady says because he's bullheaded. Let's see. It's in his character from Allison. It is who he is, right? Hard to tame a true competitor. Ego from D'Lo. Hard-headed from Steve. Footwork. He's an outside linebacker from Denver. He's not QB1. A point Blake from Troy because he's not a good quarterback. He doesn't want to get out of his comfort zone from John. It's genetic. Deborah's just going with straight DNA right there. In his head, panics under pressure from Kevin. Trying to be Superman from Oscar. His brain is wired differently like that. So for the open-ended question that we usually don't ask, really undisciplined, we've gotten a lot of different answers, right?
Yeah. And here's one that I don't like because we had this comment here for Facebook says rookie mistakes. And I want to squash something because I've seen this the last 2 weeks. It's just his 10th game. It's just his 11th game. He's still in his rookie season. No. He's had a full off season between 9 games and 10 games. This is not a rookie season. Drop that mentality. If you are defending Will Levis with this defense, drop it. He is no longer a rookie. He's also not young. He's 25 years old. He might be inexperienced, but he's not a rookie and he's not young. So drop those defense approaches for Will Levis. If you want to defend Will Levis, I'm not closed-minded on that. But just don't do those two. Rookie or young, because he's neither of those. Factually.
So here is my answer because I think this is here's where I'm a little bit worried. I think what makes Will Levis can make Will Levis good. Great. We can't sit here and say we have no idea if he's going to be great, right? He's just trying to be good, right? That's the goal is at the end of the season, you want people to say Will Levis is good, right? He can't win rookie of the year, right? He's in his second year. But what I think can make him good, and you saw this yesterday, Austin, the plays that he made with his arm by taking risks down the field, one ended up in an interception. Another one ended up in an unbelievable touchdown by Calvin Ridley, right? So like there's that. The plays that he made with his legs, I mean, you cannot deny what Will Levis did running the football. 4 carries, 38 yards, and that long 21-yard run, and then getting out of the pressure to make something happen, right? He still's got to learn how to slide and all of that, but my fear is that that's what kind of separates him. What makes him good or could make him good actually could hurt him. And I compare it to like Brett Favre or Jay Cutler or any of the gunslingers, the traditional gunslingers. What makes them good is the fact that they're risk takers and they have a rocket arm that fires the ball into Greg Jennings, breaks 3 of his fingers, but it's still a touchdown, right? Mm-hmm. But it also, you have the, oh my God, what kind of throw was that, right? I think this is what we're getting from Will Levis. Can he change? Can he evolve? I think with coaching, because of his inexperience, there's an opportunity to. But I am fearful, Austin, that this is just how he plays.
Yeah,
I didn't watch him enough at Kentucky. I will say that. Like we've gone back and watched a lot of film and done our research on him, but to actually watch Kentucky football for all of his starts, and is this how he plays? I just feel like that is kind of how he plays.
Yes, I mean there's 3 games that really stand out to me, and they're all 3 are against the schools that we went to. At Ole Miss, just awful turnovers in a game that Kentucky had a chance to win, and they lost at Ole Miss because Will Levis had awful timing with turnovers. Then 2 games against Tennessee that he played, one in Lexington, which was a shootout. Both teams scored 40 points, and the only reason why Kentucky had a chance to win that game is because Will Levis was great until he threw the death pick 6 to end it to Alontae Taylor. The other one is last year at Kentucky in Neyland Stadium when it was awful. He had 3 interceptions in that game, and Tennessee ran him out of the stadium after they talked a lot of trash going into that one. My answer to this question is Will Levis is a bad decision maker. And I think it's as simple as that. He makes poor decisions. Not all the time, but frequent enough for it to be something that I don't know if you can trust. And it's because of...
Can that change?
I mean, he even said he has to rewire his brain. Like, that's not easy. Like, breaking habits, I've been trying to stop biting my fingernails for 10 years. You know, like, and that's no consequence to anybody else but me. My wife hates it, but still, like, he has to rewire his brain. I don't know if it's going to stop because he's a bad decision maker on the field. I think, it's the same thing as like the mayo and the coffee. It was meant to be a joke, but it was dumb. Eating the banana with the whole peel on it. It's just dumb. He's doing, and it goes viral and it makes him look like an idiot. Now you can lean into it all you want, right? You can lean into it all you want, try to make some money off of it and lean into the joke, but it still comes down to being a bad decision maker. And he is a bad decision maker. It's plain and simple.
Okay. So I actually really like what you said there. Here's where I would push back on can it change? And it actually goes to a comment because Easy Tovey says, I also think the head coach is so soft on him. I disagree. I think we saw he's not, right? Like, that was an eye-opening experience for me to see Brian Callahan dog cuss his ass. I mean, that was a good old-fashioned Nick Saban ass chewing. That's what it was. Right. And I had never seen Brian, but I don't know if he does that in practice. I mean, we saw Mike Vrabel do that stuff all the time, right?
Brian Callahan did it when Jeffrey Simmons started to fight on the first day of pads.
Okay. So there's one experience. Brian Callahan, I think, can help Will Levis become a better decision maker. Can he become a great decision maker? I don't know. I think you're going to have a lot of progress. You're going to have to rewire in some degree. But I think Brian Callahan is the only resource that can help Will Levis. And I do believe that he can. After seeing that, I think Will Levis is also young. I don't think Will Levis thinks that he knows it all. I think that he is an open-minded individual ready to learn, because he hasn't proven anything in this league. So Brian Callahan he's our only hope. If you're looking at like Will Levis, like he is the only hope for that to improve on that. I will say, I don't think, I don't even want to say we won't see what we've seen the last 2 weeks again from Will Levis. I don't know if I'm ready to go there, but I do think Brian Callahan can help him.
Yeah. Jay says, because people are questioning why he's a bad decision maker. Did you see Will Levis slide? I mean, you mean dive? I mean, the guy like which he didn't slide. He kind of just like clunkily dove.
You know what is going to make Will Levis slide?
What?
Him getting hurt.
I mean, you would think watching Tua Thursday night.
When you're a young person driving, the only thing that makes you change your driving habits is getting into a car accident, like fender bender, whatever it is. But like you have to have those experience to now make sure you look both ways, right? That Will Levis, and I hate to say it, and I hope it's not like I'm not saying a catastrophic injury. I'm just saying like he's going to get hit and be like, okay, I didn't like that because he's huge, right? Like it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot for that to happen. But I think that's the only way that he's going to actually like slide.
I mean, he needed a heating pad in the game against the Bears, and it didn't change.
But he's not hurt. Like again, because he's 25 and jacked,
right? Like he thinks he's invincible. He's like most 25-year-old men.
Well, he kind of looks it too, right? Like he looks the part. He looks strong and physical and like he's ready to run somebody over. And that's just not the NFL quarterback today. Because I mean, on the other side of the scope of things, Tua, right? Tua's sitting there in not that position, right? He's not the huge, strong individual. And that's a whole nother, conversation and discussion. But Will Levis, I think the only way that he's going to learn from these mistakes, the 2 mistakes he made in back-to-back weeks, I think he can learn from that because he got his ass chewed in front of live television, right?
Yeah.
And that's embarrassing to a degree. The sliding thing, I think he's going to have to get hit.
For sure. All right. We have so many good comments to get to. We're going to get to those here in a second. But first, I want to tell everybody about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. If you get hurt in life, whether it's playing intramural sports or just life in general, because that's what happens sometimes in life, you have to go to the Bone and Joint Institute when that happens. Because if you're in Middle Tennessee, Northern Alabama, Southern Kentucky, Bone and Joint Institute is the best you can find. They've got all the experts and the resources right there in one spot off I-65 on Highway 96 in Franklin, Tennessee. They've also got clinics and physical therapy centers across Williamson County and growing. So make sure when you have an injury in life, you don't just sit there and wait for it to get better. Go get something checked out like I've done the last couple of years, boneandjointtn.org.
A to Z Sports, we are powered by BetMGM. We love BetMGM. Download the app today in your Apple or Android app store. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports. The sports book born in Vegas is now in Tennessee and has been. Take advantage by using that bonus code and signing up today. They got promotions once you sign up, all sorts of fun stuff. You got Monday Night Football on the horizon tonight. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports.
All right, I'm going to start off with Amnesia because Amnesia's peppered this type of comment in the chat a few times today. So now with a super chat, Austin, your bias and hate for Levis is showing. New team, new coach, new staff, new receivers, and a whole new system. He has to learn all over again. Like I don't hate Will Levis. I predicted the Titans to go 9-8. I predicted Will Levis to throw 24 touchdowns. I predicted Will Levis to have about 3,500 passing yards. I enjoyed my dinner experience with Will Levis. The other night, Zach talked about it. Like, I don't hate Will Levis at all, but he's done dumb things the last 2 games to hurt the Titans to help them get into an 0-2 hole. Like, I hope Will Levis can pull things together because he's got all the traits. He's got all the skills. Physically, he's got all the skills. He's got to put it together between his ears, and he has the potential to be very good. But he's ruining it for himself by making bad decisions. I'm not against Will Levis. I'm not biased against him. He's doing the same stuff that we saw in college, and it's hurting the Tennessee Titans.
Well, on top of Will Levis, you look at the 4 turnovers, 2 fumbles by the quarterback, and 2 punt blocks. Those
The
should,
punt blocks don't even count as turnovers, to be honest. They're -4 and they
but-
don't count.
but those 4 plays should be, and I'm just going to talk football concept, should be easily fixed, right? You're not asking somebody to do this crazy thing and you're not asking Treylon Burks to now be the number 1 wide receiver, right? You're not asking that. But those 4 plays, I think, result into 2 wins. If you eliminate those 4 plays, I don't necessarily think that the Titans are 0-2. They may be 1-1, but they're not 0-2. And so that I think should give Titans fans some hope, because those should be eliminated.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And Blast says, just draft Connor Wegman from Texas A&M. No. Why would you do that? Stop. Like, Blast, dude, watch college football. Good Lord. Draft Marcel Reed over Connor Wegman. If you watch Texas A&M, by the way, Nashville kid, Zachary Smith. Every time my kids mess up, I'm going to look at them the way Callahan looked at Levis when he fumbled that ball. I hope for your kids' sake you don't. Funny joke, maybe worth your $9.99, but don't treat your kids
Maybe
that
not
way.
look at them, or maybe you can look at them, just don't talk to them.
Depends on how old they are. And I don't know Zachary Smith's life. I don't know how. I hope he's not the Zach Smith from Ohio State type guy. But it depends on how old your kids are.
But a joke in jest.
Darren says, Titans, the ball player who shoots only threes, got no mid-range jumper, can't dunk, plays okay defense, but always gets crossed in crunch time, but swears he's good. That's the identity. So that's a lot of pickup basketball.
Duran, I think it makes, as a team as a whole of the Titans, like, you know what that guy does? That guy contributes 9 points, right? Like, that's, if he only shoots threes, he makes 3 of them. He shot,
10.
But he's not a primetime player.
And
he's not.
He also just doesn't stop talking.
Well, the Titans aren't necessarily talking in that sense, but like, that they kind of are who kind of thought they would be. I hate to say that, but
all right. Servuco brings up here. He has good traits for a quarterback. Unbelievably fast release. Saw that in the good throws yesterday. He fights for every inch, not willing to give up on him. Look, I'm not giving up on Will Levis either, because I see the good things. Like, he's made some really nice plays. The throw to Tony Pollard on the wheel route to help you get points before the half, hell of a throw. The throw that he made to Ridley on the sideline. A couple throws he made to Ridley on the sideline. The runs that he had, escaping pressure to pick up big-time yards. But he also missed Calvin Ridley on 1st and goal from the 8-yard line to tie the game potentially, who was wide open. Dan Orlovsky broke that down on Twitter if you missed that too. Zach, any thoughts on that comment?
Yeah, we'll talk about because there's good in this game. When you lose and you figure out the reasons why you lose, that's what usually we diagnose on Monday's show. So that's why we spend the majority of the time of like the why. But they had there were some really good plays. The Calvin Ridley catch. Calvin Ridley, I'm just going to start with that positive, because we need to recognize that Calvin Ridley in 2 short weeks, I think, has shown that he is worth the money that he was paid as a free agent to go out and get number 0. The guy is fast, makes plays. I had my own opinion, and I'll just go into the Treylon Burks thing. The Titans need to replace Treylon Burks with like a speed guy, a guy that they've never had, right? They've never had the extremely fast, talented, get him open in space, and Chris Johnson's a running back, but they need to replace the big-bodied, tall wide receiver that Treylon Burks is with a fast guy to complement Calvin Ridley. Because Calvin Ridley is a wide receiver number 1 in this league, and that catch was unbelievable.
Unreal. Yeah.
No one saw that in real time.
No.
And if you said that you did, you're lying.
No, it was insane. Easy Tovi real quick says, why is D-Hop so quiet? Well, one, he's clearly not fully healthy back from his MCL injury, whether it was a grade 2 or grade 3 sprain. We don't know. He's clearly not fully healthy, but he also got the crap held out of him by Sauce Gardner on the same play that Levis missed Ridley. That should have been a penalty on the Jets top corner back there. Back to Super Chats. Whitty says the word that they would use is encouraging. Levis didn't play much better. Levis did play much better outside of bonehead play. The one interception, he was on Burks. Agree. He was more accurate on deep balls. He extended plays on good runs and slid. Like, yeah, Will Levis was better yesterday than he was against the Bears, but he still, again, made the same mistake. And it should be louder when you make the same mistake twice in back-to-back games rather than the first time.
Brian Callahan said this at some point in his press conference yesterday. And guys, the reason why they lost both these games, and I went through it last week of all the 3 and outs, but 3 and outs, second half, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and then downs. They had 3 and outs
in the second half. Yeah. 5 total.
That in the second half, you had 3 and outs. That the Jets, the 49ers told you how to beat the Jets last week, time of possession, right? Like they didn't have an opportunity. They by the end, they pulled Aaron Rodgers because it was over because they had just controlled the football game. You cannot control the football game with 3 and outs in the second half. Yeah. And so that I thought was disappointing as well.
For sure. And Brian Callahan took accountability for that. I hated the 3rd and 3 Tony Pollard jet sweep. I talked about it on the post-game show yesterday. I thought it was a bad call. Andre says another game of Kentucky Levis, back-to-back block punts, inexcusable. Burks again showed he's a lost cause. Where's the mid-range pass game? Right side of the O-line, thumbs down. I think why there's no mid-range pass game is because the right side of the offensive line.
Well, mid-range pass game is DeAndre Hopkins.
Well, and so
that is hurting them. Like DeAndre Hopkins, he won't be 100% ever this year. I stand by that. I don't know what his ceiling is. I don't know how much but this is a shell of DeAndre Hopkins. They're not playing him. I think he played less than 50% of the snaps.
Again,
so he's a shell of himself. That what Andre is asking, that is the mid-range game.
No, here's another thing. So Matt Waldman, who is one of the top NFL evaluators when it comes to scouting and watching film, went through a lot of plays on Twitter last night. I feel like I was watching it with him in live time. One of the throws that would hit that mid-range pass game, like Andre's talking about, was when Levis checked down to Nick Vannett because there was pressure in his face, and he missed the anticipatory throw to Calvin Ridley on a mid-range dig because the dig was wide open, and he had time to throw it, but he checked down. And I think that's the whole take what the defense gives you that Levis is doing some of the times that he's not doing the other times. Because he checked it down instead of throwing the ball early to where Calvin Ridley would have been wide open for like a 15-plus yard throw, and who knows what the yak could have been there. More super chats. Keep on rolling here with these. Dre the Barber says, I said this yesterday, but Will plays his best and worst when under pressure. The first down runs he had just like Monday Night Football last year, but bad picks too. Like I think if you have a quarterback and you're saying some of the best is his running, then you don't have the right quarterback. I don't think that's where we're at here with Will Levis.
No, he's shown that he can throw the football.
I know, but like I think if we are a couple months from now and a comment is like, yeah, the best of Will Levis, like that run was great, then this is not where the Titans need Will Levis to be.
I think that his downfield throws will be that. If he eliminates these boneheaded mistakes that we're talking about, and he only does the 20-plus yard runs and scrambles and third down, out of bounds plays that to get first downs, then that's where you get to be good, right? And he'll mature in his throwing. I think they have the right people around him, and I think he has the attributes and the skill set with his release, with his arm strength. I liked his pocket presence. I thought he showed some glimpses of like, oh, wow. Like, so we're seeing enough where Malik Willis, funny because full circle, we saw pretty quick that guy's pocket presence. And even if you watched the Green Bay game yesterday, like Malik Willis didn't just like shine. Like it wasn't this unbelievable, oh my God, the guy threw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. That was not the game, right? And that I don't think will be the game for Malik Willis. We knew that he didn't have it for a starting quarterback for a franchise early on. I can't say the same thing for Will Levis. I still think that there's opportunity for him to be good.
All right. I mean, I do too, for sure. I also think there's a league trend happening with defenses playing 2 high safeties a lot that are making quarterbacks across the league do different things. And there's going to be an adjustment period at some point. Andre Super Chat, why even make that throw to Burks of all people? He's already playing like he's losing confidence. Seems indecisive at times. Rattles easily, maybe. Talking about Traylon Burks. We've talked a lot about Traylon Burks so far. Jeffrey says, with all the improvements on offense, Ryan Tannehill would have easily won both games. Levis honestly needed another year of watching Tannehill.
But the reason why Will Levis is playing is because they're hoping that he has a higher ceiling than Ryan Tannehill.
And he does.
Well,
because the Titans don't have time for Will Levis to watch more because he's a 2nd-round pick with a 4-year contract without a 5th-year option. You don't have that time. You have to figure it out now.
You're just going to draft somebody else, right?
Yeah,
That's just how it works.
Devin comes in. Titans are going to light Green Bay up next week. Take that to the bank. Levis throwing the ball well and making plays with his legs. Stop playing hero ball. I mean, the Titans have a very winnable game against the Packers and Malik Willis. There's no doubt about that. We've got 4 more days of shows to talk about it. But yeah, I mean, Levis was better yesterday than he was against the Bears. There's no doubting that. And I'm still not out on Will Levis at all, but I do have doubts about his ability to learn. Andre says, still have to play him all year. Do not bench him. Agree. I also don't think – I think if Mason Rudolph was a quarterback for these 2 games, I think the win-loss record would be the same.
Yeah.
Because Mason Rudolph doesn't make the touchdown throws that Levis make, and he doesn't do anything with his legs like Levis has done too. Servuco, Levis and Spears looked at each other on the play. Spears looked each other on the play. Spears could also catch or jump. Oh, on the fumble. Tajay Spears does not deserve any blame for having a ball rolled at his feet in the red zone like that. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not on that. Brandon comes in here and says, Levis is Wentz. I think he'll get better. But will your fan base and franchise be patient enough to allow that to happen is the question. Philly fans and media did first year and it paid off in year 2. I mean, I get what you're saying there. This franchise gave Marcus Mariota 4+ years. They gave Jake Locker 3+ years. I don't know, because it's the 3rd quarterback. If they didn't have those other 2 quarterbacks that flamed out and they didn't give him so long, then maybe Levis would get a longer leash. But I don't know.
No, Levis's leash is what it is. And the fact that Brian Callahan didn't draft him, I think matters. And the fact that he only has 4 years on his contract because he's a 2nd-round pick matters. Will Levis should know that, right? That's why it was so upsetting to him when he didn't go in the 1st round. Like that is impactful. So Titans fans and the Titans franchise, plus they're moving to the new stadium in 2027. Mm-hmm. They're either going to have a good quarterback or a new quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. And then Sightseeing says, for a team with a new identity, this team still makes offense look so hard. Where's the Levis to Hopkins connection from last year? How hurt is Hopkins? Kind of touched on that a little bit. Still not 100%. Probably won't be, but not enough. Enough for him to keep his consecutive catch streak going, but not enough to be a true impact player on the team, which honestly, I don't think that's like the worst thing if you're talking about big picture Will Levis development, because at times last year, Will Levis keyed in too much on DeAndre Hopkins and missed other options. I think the first throw at the end of the game where he missed Calvin Ridley wide open is because he was keying too much on DeAndre Hopkins. So,
Well, because in that spot, that's who you want to throw the football to is DeAndre Hopkins because he has the best hands on the team, right? Like that's what he's known for. And he doesn't have to run a long route because of his knee, right? Like, so I get it, but hindsight, it's all hindsight, right? That's why you watch the film and you're like, well, that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, without a doubt, missed opportunity. All right, Zach, you kind of touched on, you have some positives that you want to get to because not all bad. And I do believe this. I think the Titans are ahead of schedule. Easton and I talked about this yesterday in the postgame show. So, Zach, want a chance for you to get to some of your positive takeaways from that game yesterday in the loss to the Jets. But first, tell us all about our friends at Farm Bureau Health Plans.
Yeah, FBHP.com is where to go to get your health plan, health, dental, and vision. We've been partners with Farm Bureau Health Plans for a number of years. We love them. So the Titans, so the Tennessee Volunteers, so the Nashville Predators, they are peppered throughout the state because they care and they give Tennesseans all across the state an opportunity for a great health plan. 200 plus locations across the state. They've got agents that will answer your questions. 75 plus years in business too. So trusted Farm Bureau Health Plans. You can visit them today by give them a call or go online at fbhp.com/ATOZ. That's fbhp.com, Farm Bureau Health Plans, fbhp.com/ATOZ, and trust them for health, dental, and vision. That's Farm Bureau Health Plans.
Also, BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. You can win with a second chance opportunity. If you make any bet, place any wager on a player to score the first touchdown of the game and they score the second touchdown of the game, you get your wager back in bonus bets up to a specific amount. So make sure you opt in existing users to that fun feature with BetMGM this football season. Also, if you haven't signed up with BetMGM yet, come on, guys, jump on the train. It's so much fun. Although Tajay's ankle injury really bummed me out yesterday because all I needed was 4 more yards for the over in rushing. But you can do that and make your first bet go big with getting up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. That's only when you sign up with BetMGM for the first time using our bonus code. That's ATOZ Sports. That's ATOZ Sports with BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. Zach, I will toss it to you to walk through some of your positive takeaways from the Titans' loss to the Jets yesterday.
Well, we started, and we've already talked about Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley is making the money, and he is earning the money. So you have to love what you've seen from Calvin Ridley on the offensive side of this new look Titans offense. I think the other player on the offense that you have to look at is a positive is Tony P. Tony Pollard is that guy, right? They went out and they paid him the money. I think that was a big surprise in the offseason of like, oh, the Titans signed Tony Pollard. Yeah. He was not only they wanted to run the ball by running the football, also out of the backfield, catching the football. He, I feel like, has been a breath of fresh air in the running game and being an asset for Will Levis. Over 100 yards combined on rushing and receiving. I love Tony Pollard. I knew that the cream was going to rise to the top. That was one of the things that I've said the offseason, that he was going to be RB1. They split time. I see that, but Tony Pollard is the better running back with the more experience. That's why he makes more money. So those are two offensive positives. You have to recognize Harold Landry. Harold Landry is playing like he got that big contract, and then obviously the ACL. And I don't want to say he got lost in the mix, but I felt like he kind of got lost in the mix, right? He's not lost in the mix anymore. And this front four and the potential of Jeffrey Simmons is going to Jeffrey Simmons, right? I think T'Vondre Sweat is going to have his highs and lows. He's going to have good games and bad games as a rookie, right? I mean, that's usually how that works. Arden Key's got to step up, but Harold Landry as that pinpoint, he still has that move that gets around offensive linemen. I was impressed with Harold Landry. And here's a guy that you're starting to see grow as well. And he actually had an opportunity to make another play. He missed the tackle barely. But Roger McCreary, I think, needs some notoriety among all of the offseason transactions for that secondary. Roger McCreary was drafted by the Titans, and he has become a nice player. And so I thought he did a good job. So 2 offense, 2 defense, that's what I noticed among all of the negative, because I do think whether you win or lose, you need to recognize there are always good and bad things. those were some of the positives that I saw with this team.
Yeah, I think absolutely. Like Harold Landry, a lot of fun to watch when he's going, because not only did he have 2 sacks yesterday, but he also had a bat down at the line of scrimmage of Aaron Rodgers' pass, and then had a sack the very next play in back-to-back snaps. Very impressive. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has never looked older in a game than this first sack that Landry got when Kenneth Murray made him pause and Landry came around the backside. Man. And Aaron was like, he looked like Tom Brady did a couple of those times that last year, just being like not able to keep up. But yeah, I think Harold Landry is very impressive. I love Roger McCreary and the way he's playing in the role that he's in right now. So look, there's a lot of positives to like for this football team. There really is. And I think why these 2 losses are so painful is because you see them in positions to win the game. Oh, yeah, and I saw this from Demetrius real quick. Another guy, Ernest Jones 4. Ernest Jones is a dude. Like, Ernest Jones is so great and as the best middle linebacker the Titans have had since Randall Godfrey. That's going back a long way, back to the NFL blitz days. But I don't know if I'm ready to say that, but Ernest Jones and Kenneth Murray have high-level potential, except for when Kenneth Murray is lined up on the sideline covering a wide receiver running down the field. That's a hole in the game. So, but a lot of really good positives to take away from. American Top says, where is Snead been? Good. If you don't notice where he's at, that's what it's supposed to be doing. Now, great play by Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers on the 3rd down late in the game, the Willie Mays catch. What are you going to do? When a Hall of Fame quarterback hits a really good player on a play like that, you're going to give that up. But if you're asking your question, where has L'Jarius Snead been? That's exactly where he's been. Keeping it quiet.
Well, and you knew that was going to happen when you face Aaron Rodgers and great quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers. They are going to make plays that you can't defend, right?
Yes.
And the Breece Hall sideline route on a linebacker, right? It was a great ball. Aaron Rodgers said he could have thrown a better one. I don't know if he could have, but those are the plays that are just going to happen. And that's why you can't make the boneheaded mistakes that we started the show with, because you're not going to get the opposite of it, right? You have to eliminate the boneheaded mistakes, because when you play Aaron Rodgers and good quarterbacks, like yesterday, Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, those quarterbacks are going to make the game-winning plays.
Yeah.
And that, I thought, was very, very noticeable yesterday late in that game. And I'll be honest, once they relinquished the lead, when you're down 7, I don't know how many Titans fans were like, wow, Titans are going to win this game. I was like, they had an opportunity to tie, right? Here, to close up, and I know we're going to the age game. Austin, do you think that they go for 2 if they score? I wanted them to score to figure out, because I think that would have been telling about Brian Callahan and his mindset. Sure. I was thinking about that the entire drive down. I was like, damn, I want him to score just so we can find out a little bit more about Callahan.
Because I want to know what his 2-point play is. Like, what's he got? Because he does. Like, Brian Callahan is the type of guy for me that if you're just like having a beer with Brian Callahan, you say, what are you going to run on 2-point conversion? He's like, I got like 5 options. And he just like nerds out about that. I would have loved to see it. Now, Daniel, I hope that a sweep to Tony Pollard is not one of those 5. Jesus. So, but I do think Tyjae Spears being out would have made that a more difficult decision. If you have Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard both healthy on the field at the same time, that's what I want in a 2-point conversion play. Because those 2 guys can make guys miss in a phone booth, which is basically a 2-point conversion play. And I don't know. It would have been really fascinating, because usually when you're at home, you tie it and play for overtime. When you're on the road, you go for 2 to try to end it one way or the other.
And either would have been justified, because if they go into overtime, we'll see what our defense can do. Like either would have been justified. But I really wanted to put that in position. But 4th and goal plus your 10. I don't know what yard 14. Line. 14. Yeah. And then the pass to Boyd, you wish they would have caught it, but that was going to be a 1 yard short.
I feel like Tyler
scenario.
Boyd tried to catch it, but then was also like, I need to lateral this thing as soon as possible. And then that's why he didn't catch it. So, all right, Zach, let's go ahead and get to the age game. Let's see if I can get on the board this week. Is this the week? But first, Wilson County Hyundai is where you should go for all of your new car buying needs. Make them a part of that process. Go see what they have on the lot in Lebanon or check them out online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. It's the age game. I suck at this thing so bad. I'm going to get a win at some point. So we'll see if today is the day or not. I have the chat hidden as usual.
All right. We have an interesting one today. It kind of works out perfectly because I love the age game. And every Monday I get to Kevin Bacon my way from the opponents. This one, there's not many cycles of Kevin Bacon. Like last week was Vince Vaughn because it was Chicago, because he's from Chicago. This one, though, is pretty different and unique. Okay. It goes to somebody that you may not recognize at first, but you will know exactly who he is. Well, will you know his age? I don't know.
Probably not.
How old is Fireman Ed Anzalone? Fireman Ed Anzalone, a.k.a. Fireman Ed, a.k.a. the fireman that starts the JETS, Jets chant each and every week and has been doing that for years and years. He was in Nashville because I Googled him to figure out how old he was. So how old is Fireman Ed Anzalone?
Oh. Did they show him yesterday in the broadcast?
No, but when I Googled him, I saw that he was at a tailgate.
Oh, man. I feel like he was absolutely in his 40s, 20 in the 90s. This is a
good one.
This is a great one. Man, I think he's in his 60s. Gotta be. He's been around for 30 plus years. I'm going to say Fireman Ed is 68. Final answer.
68 is your final answer. Okay. And I think I'm up to date on my graphic of getting everybody. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I'm sure they'll let you know if you're not.
Oh, I figured out what I did. Because Orlando Jones told me this last week. Yes. He's won it 3 times and he was on the list. So I can change that real quick and we get it. We have a winner because I have seen the correct answer. Is it Austin? Well,
Probably
we'll find out. So how old is Fireman Ed? Fireman Ed. Let's go to the top comment. Curtis C goes 65. You said 68?
Yeah, I did.
But Curtis C is close, but no cigar. 58. Louis going young, too young. He's not 58. 67 from Hello Ladies. That's wrong. 81. He's too old.
You should be at a tailgate.
67 is wrong. Guy Mann, 62. That's wrong. Nick Ewing, 63. That's wrong. Borkington, 67. That's wrong. Chris Jump, 57. That's wrong. Our girl Liz doesn't know who Fireman Ed is. She's from the Northeast too.
Yeah, she lives in the state of New York. Now, I know Fireman Ed is a lot further away than Liz is because New York's a bigger state than we expect it to be. But come on.
And so Kevin says 61. That's wrong. Titans Kyle, 62. That's wrong. Rasheed Jenkins, 66. That's wrong.
You're going to break my heart.
63. No cigar. 69. That's nice, but it's wrong.
So we're missing 64 and 65 and 68.
65. That's wrong.
Oh, God.
Patrick Bird, 67. Wrong. 59. Incorrect. 66. Eric, no cigar. 66. You said 68?
Yeah.
Fireman Ed is 64 years old. Andrew Brown does get it. There was a lot of different guesses on that. He's 64 years young. Jets, Jets. And if you're too young to know who Fireman Ed is, just go Google Fireman Ed. And you think that would, man, I thought that maybe you were gonna get it, but close but no cigar, Austin. Man,
I wasn't
that's
even
why I
that
waited.
close. I was 4 years off. You just
Well, close in the guesses, right? So
close in the
Andrew
guesses.
Brown,
That's because of how you set it up.
let's put it on the board. Andrew Brown is on the leaderboard. Orlando, I changed you to 3 times. That's why I had to remove it. That's why there's a space. Sam is our employee champion here over on the left side. But way to go, Andrew Brown. He is that's put you on the board. The age game. Fireman Ed, congratulations. 64 years young.
That's brutal. So I mean, that's younger than how long has he been doing this thing?
I mean, that's a good question. I'm sure Fireman Ed, who has 50,000 Instagram followers, which is hilarious. Let's see here. An actual New York City firefighter, Fireman Ed, was injured on the job in 2007 during the butt fumble game in a rout by the New England Patriots on Thanksgiving. Anzalone left the game before halftime, stating he would no longer lead cheers at the Jets game. He returned in 2015 to lead the cheers in the Jets game. So
he took a break.
Yeah, he took a break. He is a former firefighter.
I will say this to all you 65 guessers out there. You're 3 days off. September 19th, Fireman Ed turns 65. So you guys are really close. 3 days away.
So wish Fireman Ed a happy birthday here in 3 days.
Did you know this? That he was also a former Dolphins fan and switched to the Jets.
Yeah.
Fraud.
It's tough. Yeah.
Fraud.
Fraud.
How about this? He has been leading leading the Jets chant from section 134 of the Meadowlands since 1986. That is 1986. So 38 years he's been doing this with he had a little break there after the butt fumble. But Jacob says that was a lateral move at best. The Dolphins to Jets.
Jacob's getting the love of the show.
That's fantastic comment. Lateral move at best. I don't think it was a lateral move. All right, that's it for us on the show. The Titans are 0-2, and we will see you guys tomorrow on a Tuesday. So much more content. A2Zsports.com/Titans for all of our articles on the website. Follow us on social media. Brian Callahan press conference and players also will start at 11. And then Sam Phelan will have Titans at 2 this afternoon. Buck Rising live tonight at 7 for A2Z Sports Primetime. Easton and I will see you guys on a Tuesday morning. Appreciate it as always. Talk to you guys soon.
Adios.